So G-Rex, we just wrapped with Catmandu. How do you feel about that episode?
Such a great episode. Like, refreshing, right? To see life through a kid's eyes, especially somebody who has ADHD and autism.
Yeah.
Um,
I was just trying to think of like the words to describe how I feel after that one. And it was just super heartwarming and like, how do I say it? Like I'm inspired by him.
yeah,
And
me too. I'm inspired by him, and he gave me a different perspective on life. And like, even though he had all those struggles, I mean, he's going to college, and he ended up on high honors at the end of it. And he was bullied in school. He went through all that shit.
yeah, and he's just
And
so self-aware at such an early age
yeah,
that it blows my mind. And I'm also like very hopeful for the future, right? Like if this is our youth now, like, and who will eventually, like, I think he's going to make big waves being a director. Like, I'm very, very excited to see his future and to see where that takes him.
welcome to another episode of Shit That Goes On in Our Heads. Episode, fuck me, god damn it. Okay, number one.
I love that.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another episode of Shit That Goes On in Our Heads. This is season 2, episode 8, and we have a very special guest today, Catmandu.
Welcome,
Cat.
Good to be here. Thank you so much.
So, would you like to give yourself a little introduction?
So, hi, my name's Catmandu. Cat is in the feline, and I'm here to talk a little bit about myself. I know G-Rex because of COVID, and I don't really know what else to say that much. Yeah, I'm a senior in high school. I'm just about ready to get out of school, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry.
What's next after high school?
I'm going to film school in the
Ooh,
fall
okay.
to be a director. Yeah.
I love that. What's your favorite movie?
Um, it depends on the day, but I'm feeling more like probably Evil Dead 2. I'm a big
Okay.
Sam Raimi guy, so it's gonna be any of his flicks.
Nice. I love
Yeah.
that. If you had to give somebody like a starter pack of movies, like you have to watch this, no ifs, ands, or buts. Can you give me like 3?
If I had to give you three, no ifs, ands, or buts. Okay, so first, Wizard of Oz,
Ooh, classic.
because absolutely. I mean, what it did with Technicolor, it being a big budget adaptation, of a well-loved book, like I don't even have to explain. Like, it's Wizard of Oz, another who, and then you say another. Oh man. Well, I feel like it would have to be Star Wars,
Okay.
plain and simple. And then I feel like lastly, probably Seventh Samurai. Seventh Samurai. Sorry, geez, it's been a long day. But especially that, because I mean, even Star Wars has to take a lot of like cues from that film. I mean, and now it's gone on. It was what led to like Magnificent Seven and everything. And love to give some like love to foreign cinema. So yeah, I mean, I feel like those three. I mean, there's like I could like name off 10, but I feel like for me, like those are kind of where like film has like made the most inspiration, I feel like, for a lot of things. But that's just the kind of things I can name off at the drop of a hat.
Nice.
And if you need any Marvel movies, this man can give you a list of the starter pack to Marvel movies. There was one Saturday that we must have watched. I think we watched like 5 Marvel movies, and he was giving me like all the filming aspect of it. It was a really interesting way and perspective to watch the movie, because you're seeing it from like a director or a film student's perspective, and not as a moviegoer's perspective. I learned a lot that day. It was probably like one of the coolest days of just like watching a movie.
I have a really random question.
Yeah.
So normally when I watch or not watch movies, but the movies I tend to like are either movies that have a storyline that upsets me, or like not upsets, it invokes an emotion of some sort. I like those. But
me too. Like, I have like family members, like especially my grandmother, like she's somebody that like likes complicated stories, or like even like my grandfather, he never liked endings where like he was a biker. He hated Easy Rider because of how that ended. I'm just like, I love tragic. I like endings that feel appropriate to the story.
yeah.
Like, I love those. I mean, to a lesser extent, but like I mentioned, like I love like the Evil Dead movies. I mean, most of those have some kind of cliffhanger, and I just love it. I just love I horror movies especially are like something I have a big love for. And I just love feeling, and just whatever it is, I just love getting a rush from those feelings. And I mean, everyone has like either painting or podcasting or whatever have you. Everyone has some kind of art they grasp onto, and for me that's film.
Yeah, so that kind of leads into the question I had, because I was very curious from your perspective if the storyline is just as important to you versus how it's filmed.
Oh, don't do that to me, man. Especially as a precursor, like a prototype film student.
We'll edit out that question.
No. I love it. I'll go with it. I'd be mad if you didn't have a wonderful voice and you weren't a great person.
Yes.
But that's a tough question. And for some, I think it's when I grow older and hopefully wiser, I can look back onto this podcast and I can see my perspective change, because it'll undoubtedly change. But for me, both are very important, and both are on. I'm gonna say the boring answer, but both are important. You can have it depends on your story. You can have a beautiful like movie that each frame is like a painting, but the performances are just horrible. And as a human, you're trying to empathize with the movie and the product and the and the characters. And when you can't, that's gonna take you out. And same with, as long as the story is, you can empathize with the story, you can empathize with the characters, and it is coming from a place of some kind of love and passion, and it's on the director to tell a story, using the camera angles they need to tell that story successfully, and to guide the actors and performers to add the flavor to that story. Everything needs to come together. It's not one thing. That's the thing about movies. You can't have, it needs to be balanced. You can't just have like poor actors and great cinematography, or, a great script. It all needs to coexist, and all needs to be great. It's like any work environment or any product,
Yeah. But I think that's cool that you can see the balance between the two, because I'm starting to notice it now. Like, I have a friend who's very into movies. I have a coworker also very into movies. My husband Bizzle on occasion will know some random fun fact about how the movie was filmed. Like, this is all one take. Did you notice? And I'm like, no, but I'm starting to pick up on those things. Yeah. So I think it's cool that you can see the balance already. You're not like me struggling to learn the two.
Yeah, especially for me as somebody who, comes from, nowhere, who just comes from, the speck of a gas can, I just want to, I'm a very passionate person. I'm somebody that has a lot of whatever they do, I'll do it with love and I'll do it, with drive and determination. And for me, I'm determined to do movies. And I come from nowhere. So I want to do the best I can with what I have. And what I have is nothing except except a love and a want to educate myself. I believe that humans are natural born educators, or a natural born learners, really. We're here to learn and absorb. So for me, that's what I've been doing for most of my adolescence, is just learn and absorb. And I just want to know the most I can for myself, not so I can compete with other people, but so I can know, so I can do the best I can. I mean, when I've absorbed myself with a lot of like video essays and videos. And there was one I once watched that was like, you don't need film school to be successful. And it was a great video by this writer. And he was like, schooling for anything is up to the person. And it's the same for film school. But many people expect for film school to be your gateway, to be your easy ticket in. People who are going into film school are expecting to learn everything they need to know there. And that's never what I've wanted to do. I'm not learning I'm not going to learn in film school. I'm going to gain more knowledge and feedback of what I need. I'm there to grow my skill. I'm just there to learn more and get more context,
Yeah.
Yeah. So like for me, I just need to absorb more information. I'm still an amateur, but I've done a lot for myself as an amateur, and I'm proud to do that. I'm in a stage where I'm not expecting for people to spoon feed me. I'm pretty self-reliant, and for me, from getting also a lot of like feedback and a lot of perspective from other people, that's not a quality a lot of people have in the industry.
Yeah, or just in life in general.
Yeah. Or like life in general, but but for me especially, it's like I'm just trying to focus on myself here, like, for me, it's just, I believe about focusing on myself first so I can worry about other people second, because so that I'm successful, I need to figure out my shit first. It sounds selfish, but
no, this
No.
is like
Not selfish at all.
yeah, not at all. It's literally like, if you've ever been on a plane, what they tell you, like, if the oxygen masks come down, put it on yourself first. And then I'm very curious if you've always been this driven, or was there, how did you get to this point? Because you seem very,
that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Do you think that the factors of like how you grew up and how you grew up?
If you want me, if you want me to get into it, I can get into it, girl.
Yeah, I think that's what we're.
Okay.
Pretty skills. Is that what we're trying to ask?
The reason I'm asking, because I don't know you, I don't know your backstory, is because I, at your age, was nowhere near as stable and sound and smart as you seem to be,
or passionate,
right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I definitely came from a very tough childhood, but I don't think that it did me any favors until later on in life. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So if you're okay, I'm gonna give myself a little bit, backstory. I feel like the show and here is a very safe space. So I'm gonna share a little bit, not everything. I'm gonna give you guys a little taste, a little sample. But
share what you're comfortable with.
Absolutely. But so first off, for most of my life, a constant was my grandparents. I've lived with my grandparents, and they've been great. They're, I will always equate them to like, they're my, they're I never know how this adage goes, but like they're the Ma and Pa Kent to my Superman. They're people that have been there for me, and they've been perfect for my success and my growth. And But people always ask, like, what about your parents? What about your mom and pop, your mom and your dad? And I'm like, and the it's a little complicated. So my dad, I actually, he's out of the picture, but he's a decent guy. He has his own life, and I don't blame him. We're all humans just dealing with garbage, and or just, we just or humans. That's all I have to say. And it's self-explanatory. And I have the parents I need, but my mom has also been in my life, and that's been less than easy. um, she's somebody that's less than cooperative, is very irrational and has been very manipulative in my life. And I for a good like 8 years of my life, I lived with her, on it, like on and off. And she she was not very it wasn't, it was pretty awful. She was very emotionally manipulative. She had a boyfriend who was very, very abusive, to her. I witnessed it so many times that I bet some of that's fairly repressed. I mean, sometimes they're repressed, but unfortunately, I have a really good memory, so a lot of that I remember. But it's good for strength building, to be honest. Sounds really screwed up, but anyway, so I it was never easy, but my grandparents were always there. And it really all, and it all affected me in school. I'm a kid that has autism and ADHD, and it was like a snowball, and it snowballed into school. And the school wasn't very understanding either, even though most were like special ed teachers. So none of them understood any of this BS. They knew that there was something, like that there was crap going on, but they didn't care really. So they just always wagged their fist. They would always slap my hand, and just it always felt like they targeted me. You know,
Mm.
they never knew how to handle me, and all they would do is just yell at me and make me cry. It's just it was never a good time. And so it got so bad that they moved me over to a school that they partner with, and it's I don't know really, they do a lot. They're a very good, like, liberal arts school, not liberal arts, but they're a school that has a lot of different programs for like building trades and like STEAM, before STEAM was a big thing. And one of the things they had was called, actually, I won't say the name, but it was for kids who needed to like figure their shit out, and had different things going on in their lives. And it was kids from all different schools. And I was in the elementary school program, and I was in a room of like 10 kids of different grades. It was like 3 through like 5. And it was like the best 2 years I could have had in my childhood. It was amazing.
Wow.
And I had amazing teachers. Actually, my teacher that I had fourth and fifth, I still talk to on occasion, and they've been such a good support. And so the years following, it was a big struggle. And for me, going back onto that like determination like topic, or just like that, like self-reliance or whatever, just the traits just like the traits I possess that have motivated me. It's like, for me, I'm somebody that's just had this drive to, I feel like it's a very young thing for me to want to do the best I can do. It's a very intrinsic thing as well. Because I just have like this like instinct just to do the best I can for myself, and whether that's my career or my personal life, whatever it is, I want to do the best for myself. And I have a really good way of just picking myself back up, even if it feel like everything around me is insurmountable. I just have this instinct to just remind myself of what I'm fighting for and just keep going. And I feel like a lot of that is just like attributed to my youth and my naivety. But it's a good thing to have. It's helped
What
me out a lot.
what uh what did that STEAM school give to you that the other school couldn't? What made the difference?
Patience, lots and lots of patience, because I mean, I was tame. I just had bad ADHD. That's all.
Mm,
I was just a kid that needed some direction. I was an awful. I mean, I was hyperactive, but I wasn't horrible. I was pretty good. It's just I needed a little bit of I needed a lot of bit of guidance. But I was just a kid, you
mm,
know. I had kids who were fighting at each other and calling them racial slurs. And I'm just in the corner like giggling a lot because I was nervous, you know. But all what they did is they no matter what, they gave me a nurturing environment. I knew I felt like I was part of a family, it was like a whole school of like, God, like 500 people, teachers included, but everyone knew each other. I knew everyone's name, you know? I know that's scientifically improbable, but bite me. And, I'm, it was such a, like I said, I still talk to people from that program, and that was elementary school. I mean, it was such a really good time. And then I got back to well, our sixth grade is part of the high school, so I was part of that. And then it, everything ebbed and flowed
mm-hmm.
So I have to say everything ebbed and flowed. It kind of went back to shit, but that was also a part of the process and the like my life experience, because again because it kind of all is like it all stems from like how I feel in an environment, and I never felt comfortable in my like school environment. And then going back into it, I was really nervous, and that kind of snowballed and just
Mm,
me not being who I wanted to be, and then it just kind of continued and spiraled out into just madness. But overall, like you know, it's ended it's ended up pretty well for me, you know,
yeah.
and I like 5 years ago, I wasn't the person I am now or I wanted to be. And I know I know everyone changes with time, but I mean, for me, kind of the point I've wanted to like the point I'm like trying to get at um is really everything came to a head for when COVID started. A little before COVID, but COVID was definitely like the spark. Um, I in late 2019, excuse me, I it, it, 2019 wasn't a great year for me. A lot of family problems happening. My mom was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so all those complicated feelings just kind of came to a head. And it is what it was, and that was a lot. And there were some other things going on, I bet. I can't really think of it right now, but it wasn't a good time. And I was a freshman at the time, and I was at the lowest I could have been. My mental health was low. I was overweight. I started to not even feel like life was worth living. I was depressed. And I mean, I was a shit at school. I really was. But again, I was somebody that didn't have any guidance. I really didn't. And people just, even though people were like, oh, this kid is a lot, he's such a mess, it's like no one gave me even the chance to help me, really. No one, maybe a few people did, and they were great for that. And they've helped me. Those words have echoed in my mind to get me where I am. Those people were a lot of help, but many weren't like that, and many really, really hurt me and were detrimental to my success. And they stopped me for a good period of time. I let them stop me. It's our choice. It's our choice. It's usually our choices and not our circumstances that stop us. But sometimes that's not true. But I digress. Um, Still, it's what the problem was is that sorry. All I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, I was just at my lowest. It was a horrible, horrible time. I mean, I was in such a bad place mentally, and I was even committed. And that was one, and that experience, I let that hospital be actually a very good experience. It wasn't what transformed me, but progress is slow. You know, it's no secret in life. And but it helped. It really did. It was one part of a greater whole. And that experience was great. I met some great people there. Actually, I knew somebody who was committed with me, but I won't talk about that because of confidentiality. But it just in vague terms, or just all saying it vaguely. It was a overall good experience and a really shitty time in my life. But then in January of 2020, in the new year, I went back to that same school I did in fourth and fifth grade, and it's almost like history repeating itself. Like I was lost, didn't have any guidance, and they put me back there. You know, when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. I know that's the quote. My autism is really kicking me right now internally, misquoting that quote. But anyway, so I went back to that school, and it's for another program, and it was called the Lighthouse Program, and to help guide kids. And it's exactly what I needed. Again, it was a class of like 12 students or 10, it's pretty small, of kids who needed more guidance and didn't know what was going on. And I got along with everybody. I mean, it took me like a month. It was a 3-month program. It took me a little bit, but at the end, I mean, it was a great experience. So what it was is for me, it went from January to March.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was great. It was a really good experience, but then I had to go back to school, March 10th, 2020. Okay. And look at this kid. He's bright-eyed. He's back at school. It's still like a pretty crappy experience, and days go by, then March 13th happens, right? And then COVID hits. Okay. So after I go back to school and get some of my shit figured out, COVID hits. But here's the thing. Okay. I've always been an independent and I'm an ambivert, which is like the in-between of an introvert and extrovert. So, I love people, and actually I really enjoy being around people, and I kind of need it sometimes, but sometimes I just like to like say fuck all y'all and be with my cats, like watching movies. That's just me. That's me. And G-Rex can attest to that. Like that's a lot. That's how I'm feeling right now. Like being with people I'm comfortable with,
Mm-hmm.
but overall, like I'm gonna throw a cat at you if you mess with me.
I know you just want to go home and be with your cat, Jesus.
Yes.
But like, just to interject for a second.
Yeah.
So, my wife and I met you and your grandma in June of 2020.
Yes, you did. Oh, May.
May of
It was
2020.
like early May.
Early May, like right in the height of fucking COVID, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
everything up here was shut down. My wife and I didn't know a freaking person here, and it was you and your grandma that helped open some doors for my wife and I. And I have to tell you, Kathmandu, that between then and now, you have grown so much, and I have such a respect for you and your craft, and just watching you grow has been an honor.
Yeah.
I saw you in
Oh no.
3 plays. I've seen you sing. I've seen your films. You are amazing. And so don't ever let anybody tell you that you're nothing, because you really are something special.
Okay.
And I'm super excited for you. And you made me a little emotional. So, Dirty Skittles, do you have any questions? Because I need to blow my nose.
Right.
I do. I have so many questions. So you went back right before COVID. You found that structure, the same family feeling, right?
Yeah.
That you so needed.
Yeah.
I guess I'm curious this whole time, when did you find out that like you were struggling with ADHD and autism?
So I knew from the get-go, to be honest, especially third grade. Third grade was like awful. It was horrible. It's one of the worst experiences. It's one of the like from a from my point of view, one of the worst school environments I've ever seen. It was truly awful, with a teacher who was a special education teacher and is now no longer there, and with a vice principal who looked after me, like associate principal, whatever. They were looking after me. Now they were actually told at another school district to never work again. So I was working with some pretty horrible people,
Wow.
and with a principal that's not even working in that district anymore. So yeah, working. I had the cards against me. So yeah, so I've known pretty much for ADHD from the get-go. They never let that go. Oh, you have ADHD, you're so hyperactive, you're so energetic,
Yeah.
I can never understand you, you're saying things at a mile a minute. And then I'd be like, what? But overall ADHD has been like a big, people have never let it down. Like,
Right.
oh, I was hyperactive. Now, not so much. I'm fairly more chill. I've kind of I've unlocked my potential and I've just mellowed out. But with autism, I was diagnosed at an early age. They said mild case of autism. I mean, yeah, it's not like debilitating, but right now for those lovely audiences at home or the gym or I'm right now I'm saying no. I am totally, I'm not like full, I'm not like on one extreme or the other. I'm like, I feel like sometimes I'm in the middle. But overall, like, it doesn't even matter to me. I'm on the spectrum and I've really embraced it, especially kind of late high school or middle high school. That's where I've really thrived, to be honest. Like high school's like, after COVID is really where I embraced who I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is I let myself do that. It was always me that had to finally unlock my potential or, want to, and and through that first month, it was a lot of introspection, and through COVID, it was. And I had a lot of time to think, and I actually really thrived with my academics because I'm a really good independent learner.
Mm-hmm.
And remote learning really was my peak, to be honest. It really helped me kind of just calm down, mellow out, and just take a look back on things so that I can do better in the future. And I had a lot of time with that, really focused on my mental health. I was still struggling. I was still a struggling kid. I mean, G-Rex can attest to that. But like, I things were looking good in my life. And it wasn't until April 14th, and I can remember that. Again, my little autism sense is flaring up. It was April 14th is when I started making made the change to workout and exercise. I use it interchangeably, to be honest. I don't want any gym bros like going to wherever I live and beting the crap out of me, but
they fucking better not. We're coming for them if they do.
I got 50 cats, so like let's go. But no, so I started working out, and that was a big help for me. I was like 200 pounds. Like I was I could have lost some pounds, and I started like a modified keto diet, and I'm still on it. Like I love it. I struggle to this day, but in COVID, it was a really good way for me to focus on what I needed to do and really find some discipline. It was great, and I used I'm gonna shout him out, this great YouTuber by the name of Scooby1961, this great fitness YouTuber who he is He is this wonderful fitness YouTuber. Has been there since like 2008, and all he has is some like some shorts and a fedora, and he just makes great videos about fitness, especially for like for beginners. And I was a beginner, so it was perfect. And those were just amazing videos to get into. And overall, that was like a really great use of my time during COVID, among other things, and really just kind of surrounding myself with positivity and doing what I needed to do. I was volunteering at our local library because even before COVID, I was giving out food for a program we do. And so even during COVID, we were giving out food. So I was doing that as well. So I had stuff going on. I had school as well, although, I would get school done from like Sunday to Tuesday, and then I would have like the rest of the week off, and it was great. It was amazing. I would just like watch like bad 2000s like sex comedies. It was great. It was awesome.
That's when you came and helped us get all the stuff ready in the house. You helped my wife immensely.
Oh yeah.
Like we employed Kathmandu for like 6 months after we moved up here.
Oh yeah.
And I can attest to the fact that he lost so much weight. I mean, he is badass, man. He makes me look like I'm a fat old lady.
Oh, don't even. I will go into the other room right now and I will kick your son of a bitch ass. Don't talk about yourself like that, okay? You've done so well. Even after the trip to Europe, girl, you made me jealous. So shut up, okay? You made me determined. So
I'll tell you though, I have a funny story from his grandma. He got a jump rope, and his room is above her room, and he got a jump rope, and he would be jumping rope up there, and she would tell me that it sounded like elephants jumping on the roof, and that she eventually told him, I believe she told you needed to jump rope outside, or not during the middle of the night.
So that's kind of true. Kind of true. I've always jump roped outside because I can't think of anyone who has that space to fucking jump rope in their own house. Okay, no fucking way. If you do, you are like a property brother. Like, you know how to manage a house. Okay, I don't think anyone's a property brother. Okay, all right. So whoever thinks they can, put your hand down and like shove it up your ass. Okay, I love you. But overall, like, no, I actually, no, there's so many stories to tell, but anyway, so it is true, kind of. So, I wasn't actually living above her, during COVID. I lived on our first floor. Geez, what am I saying? I lived on our first floor, and, I was, working out there. I actually, like, around the time I met you, I was working on like a blanket. I didn't even have like a yoga mat, because this is COVID.
Right.
But I had like some dumbbells that my grandfather, love that man, got from Walmart, He got it for me as a Easter gift.
Nice.
He got me these bright pink 5-pound dumbbells. Okay. They were great. I still have them in my room. They're a bit worn, but they're great. I loved them. And 5 pounds for me were like 50. Like, it was great. I'm a reps guy. So anyway, so that's kind of true. It didn't get bad until your lovely wife helped. I don't know what her name is on the show. I'm so sorry. I'm a fraud.
She doesn't have a name.
Okay.
My lovely wife is correct.
Okay. So, all right, so lesbian Lisa over here, my G-Rex's lovely wife, she helped spay and neuter all my cats, including my beloved Jesus. And where I was living, it didn't have doors. Don't ask why, it just didn't have doors. And so I was like, and my cat Jesus was always picked on by the other cats. So I'm like, okay, I need to live somewhere. We have a second floor bedroom that hasn't been used in a while, like a while. So that night when she got back home, I was like, okay, I want to be with her while she's recuperating from her being spayed. Jesus is a girl. It's confirmed. Anyway, I don't want that bit to go on for too long. But anyway, so I had to I wanted to take Jesus upstairs and be with her for at least a couple of weeks until they had to take her stitches out. And I said a couple of weeks. And I brought all my crap upstairs. I even put my TV up on a stand we had. And so I was there for the next couple of weeks. I think I even remember the date. It's like June 15th or something. But I was like, after those 2 weeks, I'm like, no, I'm probably going to make this my permanent room. And honestly, like, we had a filled closet that was full of clutter. The bedroom was still like a work in progress. It had like a shelf that needed to be taken out. And like, but I was living there. And then I start little by little that summer. I had a lot to do, but I was also taking it was a nice walk-in closet. So I was taking crap out of the closet. I was like doing all this. It was like I even found like an old baby book of me. And I found a bunch of my old like elementary, I found a few of my old elementary books. But anyway, so I got that cleaned out. I got that room cleaned out. The room doesn't look as great anymore. I'm figuring that out too. But when you have like 3 cats, it kind of, can get a little messy, They're 2 of them are terrors. Jesus is my little angel. Love that. I love that kid. I'm gonna just do a podcast about my cat, but I won't because that'll look sad and unattractive unless you're into that sort of thing. But yeah, so and G-Rex is just laughing. It's beautiful. Love you, girl. So yeah, I started working out again up in my room, and that's really when I started sounding like a friggin' elephant. I would just be doing some some jumping jacks, or some like not bicycles, but like mountain climbers.
Yeah.
Get my glutes up, and then like she'd just be like, "What the hell are you doing? It sounds like fucking Jumanji up there." Joking aside, so that's where it kind of comes from, It's just I would just do like some mountain climbers, some shit, and it's all great. I now, thanks to G-Rex, I now work out at the gym, and that's a work in progress. Like I started late January, and I'm still I still struggle there. It's May. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, but I still struggle at that gym. There was one time where I'm just like, I can't fucking do it anymore, and I was like to tears. Like I just got like overwhelmed, and I'm something that's in my head. Like I can get my head pretty goddamn easily. So it's still a struggle, but for me, like the thing I take away is like it's a work in progress, and as long as I'm there and I'm trying, I'm doing something right. So it's a lot. It's not where I would like to be. However, I take everything as a learning experience. And I mean, now even after COVID, I still struggle with like my diet because I was really good with my diet. But now it's, now I'm a little more flexible. But for me, that's also a learning experience. And because now pre-COVID, I know COVID's not over, but, when there's the lockdown and lockdown and post-lockdown, 2 very different realities we live in now. So now that I have access to the drug that I like to call sugar and carbs, that can make things a little more complicated. And moderation is something that I struggle with. Absolutely. Because sometimes I just say, screw moderation. I'll eat my brains out of, some Nutter Butters, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4 and 5. I'm not somebody that's like gonna break and like get like a bunch of Snickers at a Dollar General or whatever. Not that kind of person, which is kind of good. But overall, it's still a struggle for me. I still struggle. It's again not where I want to be, but I have to take it in stride because if I don't, I'm just gonna crumble within. But
don't ever offer him potatoes because the answer is going to be no. But if you show him a box of Mike and Ike's, and
you are a supplier. Okay, I'm not. Okay, I've grown for another growing opportunity. Anytime. So this turd over here, she would. She's actually a great like tutor, but she would tutor me, and she's like, "Bray, Mike and Ike's." I'm like, you know what? I'm doing pretty good. It's a good week for me. Yeah, sure. And then 2 boxes become 4 boxes. It's like it compounds.
G-Rex. How dare you?
They're a bastard.
How dare you?
So I know that you've like had some like really hard struggles in your life, like some really sad shit that's happened, and but you've also really strived. Like I've seen you in plays, and I've seen you in your musicals, and I've seen you like go to like the thing for the Rotary Club and your volunteerism. I mean, for somebody who's not even 18, you've done more with your life than I think I did in the 4 years I went to high school. And
Same.
I think that really says a lot for you, right?
Yeah.
A lot about you and about your strive and your determination and just your zest for life. And I've also seen how you've interacted with not only your grandma and your grandpa, but other adults around you. And you truly are an inspiration. And I can't wait to see what the future brings for you and your filmmaking and just how far you go in life.
It's okay to be not okay. Just make sure you're talking to someone.